hello, and hoping that you're staying warm as this cold spell finally is going to be departing the state of West Virginia. It's been single-digit cold, but later this week, 97 degrees and sunshine.
Unconfirmed.
Somewhere in the world. Welcome in. This is episode number 500 and, 20-something. I think it's 22. 522. Title I do know. Kansas. Dusted in the wind.
All you are is dusted in the wind.
Yeah. For those of you that are younger, look it up. Three guys before the game brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By GoMart, go for good times, go for GoMart. Get that rewards card and save on fuel and food and accumulate them points. Three guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. And Spreads on Stats coming up, brought to us by the Connolly CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. Thanks so very much for being with us. Great to have all three guys in. Hoppy going back and forth between Morgantown and Charleston for the legislative session. You're going again this week.
Yeah, I'll be going tomorrow.
You having a good session so far?
Oh, I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
It's interesting. Sure.
Good. Absolutely.
Plus, I had a side trip.
Excuse me?
I had a side trip.
You did?
Yes.
Well,
A fruitful side trip.
Wonderful side trip.
I mean, these listeners are three guys. It's unbelievable. They invite and we come. That's basically what it comes into. Several shows back during Textual Healing, we had a gentleman who works at the for the Charleston Fire Department.
Stephen Settle.
Was it Stephen?
Stephen.
What engine? Is that engine 2?
That's Station 2.
Station 2. Station 2.
On Virginia Street.
Yeah, if you ever in town, Hop, you might want to stop by. So the old boys stopped by. You had yourself a nice visit.
Had a great visit. Came with some treats. Had the new popcorn that you invented.
Thank you.
And had a big bag of coffee beans.
Did you guys pour any of that? Did
Oh,
you make
yeah.
it? You made it.
They ground it right there. And
Our three guys blend, right? It was.
the three guys.
Very
blend.
good. Mountaineer roasting.
So we had I don't know if you have I think we had the picture. I had a wonderful visit with Chief Mark Strickland.
Oh, you're going to go right into this, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's show you some of Hoppy's day at the fire station. Look at
Okay.
that, huh? Those are all your new friends.
To my right, that's Steve. That's Steve Strickland. Steve Settle. So Steve Settle, Mark Strickland, J.D. Haley, Steve Martin, Chad. I think it's Soice, S-O-I-C-E, Chad, and Adam Draham. So we all gathered there.
I think you just named more guys than are in the picture.
Got 'em
Anyway, go ahead.
Well, anyway,
They were all there.
Great guys. Had a wonderful visit, and seriously, I mean, we joke around a lot. They're doing the people's work. I mean,
Real
going
work.
out fighting fires.
Yes.
Answering EMS calls. There was one individual there who had personally saved a life of an individual.
That day.
Not that day, but had received an accolade for that. That's me with Steve's
dog?
Yeah, that's with Steve's wife and daughter, and their dog happened to be there too.
So is that the fire station dog? I thought those were Dalmatians.
No, I think that was the Settles dog.
But Settles dog.
But wonderful visit, and just appreciate the work they're doing.
Yeah, look at that.
Had you some coffee?
We enjoyed some Three Guys coffee.
No,
In your Station 2 cup?
Yeah. Hey, wait.
You got it with you?
I got my Station 2 cup right here.
Yeah, sure you do.
So you brought it back with you. Now let me ask you this.
there it
I
is.
asked you.
There it is.
Now, would you go down? Did they have a fire pole? Or is this like a fancy fire station that doesn't have the old school fire?
No. I thought do stations still have the fire pole? They have a fire pole, and they have from the time that
Did they show it to you?
Oh yeah. In fact, I got to use the fire pole. If you want to see that, they let me slide down the pole, pretend I was a fireman. Here we go.
Now he gave you some lessons there.
Yeah,
right?
tell me how to do it.
Right? Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Legs wrapped.
Yeah, get that in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
we
really.
handled that pretty well.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, it was The left arm, you secure yourself. You wrap your leg around. The
Wait,
right
wait,
hand
look,
is
here's
the
another
brake.
angle. Another angle. This is from
And
Bob.
two camera
We had
shot.
two
Two
cameras
camera
on it.
Yeah.
shot.
Come on down here, hop.
Whoop. That's pretty good length there.
At your advanced age, I mean, that is something else.
They are prepared so that when the call comes in, they expect to be in the truck and on the move in 60 seconds.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, guys. We hope that you enjoy the coffee
Had a wonderful visit.
and
Thank
the
you, guys.
popcorn.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that popcorn,
Awesome.
this is the last week you can
still-
order it and still get it for Valentine's Day. Saturday of this week, which will be 27th. By the way, last week was National Popcorn Day.
Missed it.
Was that right?
Yeah, and Mountaineer Popcorn named the best small popcorn company in America.
Is that right?
I'm working on confirmation, but at this point, our Valentine's is available. Our Valentine's popcorn that we made
They
special.
love that. By the way, I said,
It's
taste this
really
popcorn.
good.
Yeah,
and
it's-
everybody that tastes it, oh, that's pretty good.
That's really
That's
good.
good.
But
So, yeah,
okay, what you got to order this week in order to have it by Valentine's Day?
correct. Get it
Okay.
before Saturday. Yeah, it's really
Fair
good. All right, so let's jump in. You went to the game on. You were there Saturday.
I was.
Okay, very good. West Virginia knocks off the Kansas Jayhawks. Wow. Huh? How about
Wow is
this?
right.
I mean, wow. West Virginia now 7-5 all time at home against the Kansases. I mean, Jayhawks had been having their way with the world champions. They had won 6 in a row, and they had beaten West Virginia 3 times in each of the last 2 seasons because we've run into them in the conference tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So they have been dealing on West Virginia. And on Saturday, WVU prevails in one of those games that leaves memories for longtime Mountaineer fans, medium-sized Mountaineer fans, and the youngsters.
Absolutely.
Like the youngsters that were in the crowd, like they'll remember that game. That'll keep them coming back for years. 12,208 on hand. Just an unbelievable effort by West Virginia. I mean, West Virginia's averaging 68 a game going into this one, at 51 at halftime. And you're locked at 51, an NBA-esque score. And we're going to break it all apart. Why did it happen? How did it happen? As West Virginia now gets ready to do a couple of things. Getting ready to play 2 on the road. And I think this is so big, I think I'm going to use the 3 guys stinger. I'm just going to go with it. Well, it looks as though Jesse Edwards' brace is off. X-rays have been taken. He's went back to practice, and the Knights of UCF may be the first Big 12 conference game for Jesse.
Well, they got some size. We're going to preview them in a minute. Wouldn't be a bad time to get a 7-footer back.
UCF, if you take a look at the rest, got 13 guys all over 7'8".
Close.
Close.
I mean, you're in the ballpark there.
Right around
Yeah.
there. Right around there. Big team. They are a real big team.
Let's talk Kansas first, though.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Go ahead, Hop. I'll give you the opening
Okay,
statement.
yeah, because I forget what I said. Hoppy's obvious observations. Who's-
HOO.
HO. First of all, I mean, obviously, great win. Props to the crowd because it was a very, very cold day.
Terrific.
A team that has a losing record.
Yep.
Crowd comes in. Brad makes a difference. Number one.
They were very loud.
Yeah. Number two, if you can beat Kansas at home, that tells this team and that tells the fans you can beat anybody at home. Okay, road, a different story. But that to me was an equalizer. Now, anybody at home, you say, yeah, you got a shot. I mean, yeah, I got a legitimate shot. Number 3 is just guys playing. I mean, Sumnick and Battle and Brad, if you shoot 52% from 2, if you shoot 57% from 3, if you shoot 84% from the free throw line, if you get 11 more rebounds than the other team, what do you think will happen?
Make shots, you win. Make shots.
Yeah. And West Virginia played, obviously, Brad, their best game of the year.
They did, and so let's dive in here. There's a bunch of different areas we'll attack, including the individual performances. You named a couple. There were a lot. And Tony, we said on Thursday, one of the things, at some point, you've just got to line up and beat the guy across from you. And West Virginia did. I'll say this, guys, that was a high-level basketball game. That wasn't a fluky Hoosier situation for West Virginia. Oh, they're struggling and beat the big bad. That was like West Virginia lined up, and there were big stretches where West Virginia was just the better team. I'll get into some of that, where they lined up and it was elite elite coaching strategy and adjustments coupled with unbelievable execution. That was just a fun game to watch.
You know what that kind of reminded me of? You ever see those crazy things on, maybe sometimes you see it on YouTube. Those guys get across from each other at a small table, and one guy just hauls off and hits a guy right in the face, and he slaps him, and then the other guy slaps him, and they just stay there and they keep slapping. That's what that game really was. It was just from the opening tip, like, I'll punch you, you punch me. I'll punch you, you punch me. Guess what? I'm not going away. I'm keep punching you. You're going to keep punching me. And that's what it was. That was back and forth.
It was. And also making plays at key times. How about key rebounds late in that game? How about key free throws late in that game?
Key free throws are massive. Well, and that's where the West Virginia side impressed me so much, is that given the way the season has gone for WVU, playing against that program and that particular team, when Kansas made its couple pushes, right? There was that stretch, Tony, where West Virginia had a couple turnovers and they had those live ball run out layups, and that's what Kansas does. We talked about that Thursday. You can't allow that, and West Virginia was pretty good at that, but Kansas did that a few times, and you thought, here's the moment, and West Virginia just stood right back up and said, okay, fine, we'll come back the other way and punch you right in the face. So I give a lot of credit, not just for the execution, but the toughness that West Virginia showed to stay in there and handle those punches and deliver their own right back to them.
Yes, and I think what does that do? That speaks to this coaching staff, because if this season, which has been the most unusual season, to put it in one way, if this team was unstable at this point, if it was fragmented, if it was fracturing, if it was dysfunctional, at this point, as soon as Kansas would have stepped on the gas and that momentum meter would have swung toward Kansas, you would have had a dissolve. But instead, what you saw was they came together, they're strong. That's, a lot of times people talk about the coaching aspect. That's the coaching. You're doing all that before this game ever starts to make sure when it gets hot that you guys are able to get through. And so I give the staff a tremendous amount of credit for keeping these guys together.
Yeah, and I'm going to get to the staff here in a minute, because in the second half in particular, there was literally an elite job of identifying what the matchups were, very NBA-esque, identifying what the matchups were, identifying what Kansas was not doing well against you. And I love when this happens. You just kept saying, you know what, you can't stop it. Guess what we're going to do this time down the floor?
Do it again.
Run it. Hey, you didn't stop it. Guess what we're doing this time? We're running it. Hey, you didn't stop it again. We're coming right at you. That was awesome. That's a fastball pitcher that's throwing 101, and you can't see it, and you just keep throwing it right by you. We'll get into that in a minute. Let's dive into some of the particulars here. We'll kind of look back at some of the keys we talked about Thursday and how did you do in those situations, and then move forward with some things that popped up.
So is this like validation of your spreads on?
No, there were some.
Affirmation?
No, there were some.
Confirmation?
But no, West Virginia just played so well. It was some of the keys that we said, yes, came through, but some of those just didn't turn into a factor. Let's start first. We said steals and transition buckets for them, Kansas, is a key piece. You have to limit it. They had their moments. They got 14 points off turnovers, and you were -7 in that category. Okay, that was doable. That wasn't getting crushed in that area. And there were a couple particular runs where they went on, but again, as we said, you answered it. We said you've got to limit the shots at the rim and contain the paint points. 38% of Kansas's shots are at the rim. This game, 35% of them. Then there were moments where you saw Hunter Dickinson inside, Tony, and you alluded to it as an adult playing Nerf ball against your kids. It looked like that. When he gets it deep, he had a layup where he did not jump.
I know.
I'm not exaggerating that. He did not come, his feet did not leave the floor, and he just put it in. He was a load down there at times. He's a big dude.
7'2",
He's a big dude.
legit 7'2", 260.
They didn't go to him late, did they?
Well, credit West Virginia, and I'll get to it's a piece of Pat Sumnick's unbelievable day, but he came back into that game with 4 fouls with 5 minutes to go and didn't back off a ton. And Tony, we thought maybe Pat would have to come back in, and could he be as aggressive as he was earlier in the game? Because you figure they see a guy with 4 fouls that have been that much of a factor with a big guy against him, feed it, and Pat just went in and literally sat on the guy. Just sat on the guy and made it difficult to get the ball in there. So credit some of that to Sumnick late. All right, let's keep going. Said you had to find points. That was my biggest concern for West Virginia. Kansas doesn't normally put you on the free throw line. They don't normally give up offensive rebounds, and they're very good defensively, especially at 2-point field goal percentage for the opponent. West Virginia, in every one of those categories, they ended up +7 attempts at the line and +7 points. Some of that was the fouls late, but you guys alluded to it. Down that stretch, West Virginia not only got the free throws, but converted the free throws to hang on in that game.
9 out of 10 free throws inside the last 40 seconds.
Yeah, how about that?
How
about that?
That's
So
how
that
you win.
accounted for some of the difference, but that was critical to getting that win.
And on one of the misses, the big rebound.
Slazinski got the rebound.
Slazinski had 2 big offensive rebounds late, which is the next category. They don't normally give those up. West Virginia wins that statistic 9-5 on offensive rebounds. That turned into +5 second chance points. You do those 2 things against Kansas, you're feeling pretty good. Third part, we said you've got to hit guarded shots if you're West Virginia. That was one of the keys against Texas. They were guarding you. West Virginia wasn't getting open looks, but you made the shots. West Virginia had its second most points from spot-up jumpers this season. UMass was the first. Remember how blistering hot West Virginia was in that game? Mm-hmm. This was the second most. Here's a stat you're looking for, because I know you're about to ask, so I'll just give it to you.
Thanks.
15 guarded catch-and-shoot jumpers against Kansas. They took. West Virginia attempted. Only 5 unguarded. So you talk about sometimes you've just got to make shots when they're all over you. You got 21 points out of those 15 shots. That comes out to 1.4 points per shot, which is very, very good. Made shots, made guarded shots. Mm-hmm. They played good defense. You hit shots on them. Threes were obviously a massive key, season high with 12, but I thought even more than just the sheer number of them. Let's call out a couple of individual performances here. Kerr Kriisa early hitting those, I thought really established the tone and gave West Virginia some confidence like, okay, we're here to stay. We're in this game. We're making shots today. We're going to be around. So they ended up slowing him down throughout the game, but his ability to start was
What's wrong with your throat?
I don't know. I'm
Hoppy, you hearing that?
excited. It's early in the morning here. We got things going on.
I mean, can I get you a cigarette or something?
All good. So Kerr Kriisa, very good. How about Seth Wilson?
Yeah.
Coming off the bench, you'd been waiting to see him turn it loose from 3. He comes in and gives you, I mean, he have 3?
Went 3 for 3.
He was outstanding, and they were all big. So
think about this.
So that was like handing the baton, Hoppy.
Yeah.
Kerr comes out, hits 3 early, and the crowd's into it, West Virginia's in, and that's page 1 of the manual for the upset, right? Start hot early and get that crowd into it. West Virginia did. Kerr took that baton and handed it to Seth Wilson.
Seth Wilson, in the previous 71 minutes on the floor before Saturday, had only taken 4 3-point shots in his last 71 minutes. He gets 15 on Saturday, he takes 3, and he makes all 3 of them. But, I mean, that's what Seth has to do. I mean, everyone has to do their thing. Yeah. His thing is let the ball go, let her fly. And I think you also saw in the course of that game this is such a momentum and rhythm and a confidence game. When someone hits one, then someone hits one, and it just feeds on itself. And when you start counting it down, how many guys hit threes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different guys hit a 3.
And Tony, and of course, some of this is the fact that you have players who've come on the team that weren't there. But earlier in the year, when you were doing the first 10 games, like who's going to come off the bench? Who's going to go in there? And you outscored them in bench points 21-14 in that game. So guys, everybody contributed.
Yeah, I'm going to get to the bench in a minute because I thought that was especially important in this one, both ways, West Virginia's side and Kansas side. So we'll talk about that here in a second. So threes were especially crucial to this game. You're not winning that game without having a really good effort from 3. But here's what I want to hit on for a minute. This is what impressed me the most. The second half, it was West Virginia's ability to identify mismatches and then attack those mismatches. And what we're talking about, Hoppy, West Virginia put Hunter Dickinson in pick and roll situations in the second half, time after time after time.
Like every possession.
And absolutely destroyed Kansas with the pick and roll. That was a season high by far for the pick and roll roller, the pick and roll man. 14 points off of that particular position. So pick and roll, what are you going to do, Kansas? Who are you going to take? You want to stop the ball handler? You're not going to guard the man, the pick and roll man. And a lot of that was Sumnick, right? Sumnick was absolutely lights out in this particular game. So the previous 6 games, West Virginia had 15 combined points from the roll man.
Wow.
They had 14 against Kansas. You talk about identifying something that was working and just riding that thing. West Virginia did a great job with that.
Right, by the same token, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just saying, by the same token, the pick and roll was not working for Kansas in the second half. They weren't getting the ball to Dickinson.
Yeah.
And that pick and roll is going to become even bigger for West Virginia with Jesse Edwards' return. That's
Correct.
what he does.
Correct.
He is a roller extraordinaire. And I'm very excited to see what this Creasa Edwards pick and roll looks like, because when they were playing together in practice before the season, they said that thing looks at times it's a wow. So I want to see that.
Well,
now.
let's not sleep on Pat Sumnick staying in that role. He's now third in the Big 12 in points per possession as the pick and roll man. Let me say that again.
No.
Pat Sumnick, who was struggling to get minutes early, has now elevated himself to third in the Big 12 in points per possession. The job that guy has done since Ohio State and the improvement and the confidence is absolutely astounding. He's been awesome.
Yeah.
Hoppy, he wasn't good Saturday.
No, he was elite.
Awesome against a guy that's going to be a first-team All-American. Pat's given away, 6 inches to him?
Mm-hmm.
Lined up and outplayed the kid on Saturday.
The one thing that'll never go away for the rest of Pat Sumnick's life will be, I once lined up against Hunter Dickinson, outscored him and out-rebounded. Pat went 20-6. Dickinson went 19-5.
And was head-to-head in a lot of those and still came out on top.
Yeah.
All right, let me keep going on pick and roll.
Is this spreads on stats all right? Should I play that music yet?
Well, I'm already kind of heavily into it. Well, I've got more.
So I missed the music?
I don't know. We'll do more. That's okay. I got all kinds of stuff. We'll come back. UCF stuff. We'll go spreads on stats.
All right.
You also got double-figure points from the ball handler in this game in the pick and roll. So you were eating them up with the ball handler and the roll guy. It just absolutely dominated them, which was something to watch. All right, let's call out another performance here because I thought this was impactful and speaks to all of the great performances you got. Noah Farrakhan impacted a game about as much as you can for a guy that didn't make a field goal. I'm correct.
Agreed.
Did not have a field goal, correct?
That's correct.
6 assists, 1 turnover. And guys, he gives you a couple things, and you saw it on Saturday. He is basically at this point unguardable in a one-on-one situation. There's yet to be a guy that can stay in front of him. He is unbelievable at that. And so you put him in the pick and roll situation, and they had to make a choice. How do we stop him? Do we stop him or let him go all the way to the basket, or can he drop it off? 6 assists in that game against 1 turnover, a lot of those in the pick and roll situation. Massive impact for a guy that did not hit a field goal.
Yeah. And he did that oftentimes against DeJuan Harris, who is the reigning Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And we saw it right from the start of the game because teams have been doubling Creasa and they've been doubling Raekwon Battle. And some teams have to do that. Okay. Kansas, that's not their MO. They don't double. They just go here's our 5, and we're going to switch everything 1 through 4, and it doesn't matter. We don't care about what the matchup is. Your guy can't get by our guy. First couple plays of the game, within the first 2, Raekwon Battle gets the ball. And Kevin McCullough, a veteran player who's got a chance to play in the
Great
NBA.
player.
Raekwon gets the ball and just blew by him. We went okay, so you got something here, and then they just fed off of it.
It took them a while to adjust to him. They tried to go one-on-one with him and put multiple guys on Raekwon, and he was taking everybody. There wasn't a single guy that could stop him. Then in the second half, they went to that switching everything along the perimeter, which was a great move by Bill Self, obviously a Hall of Fame coach. Great move because then it was difficult for him to get traction, but that's when the pick and roll then became so valuable. So it was a great counter-punch situation right there is, okay, you're going to switch everything and take that away, then here's what we're going to do to counter that. And that was an important part of this game, Tony. We talked about lineups on Thursday when they went with Johnny Furphy into their starting lineup, a 6'9" kid from Australia, is you created some challenges there from a West Virginia lineup perspective, size-wise, because you play Farrakhan and Creasa together. That's a smaller lineup going against them, which is a very big lineup. Your smaller lineup paid dividends, Tony, because they had to make the decision. This is what you want. Hop, in those extreme mismatches, which one of you is going to impose your will?
Right.
And West Virginia did a better job, I thought, of making Kansas decide, okay, we've got 2 point guards. You've got a great defensive point guard in DeJuan Harris. Which one do you want to guard? Oh, you want to guard Kerr Creasa? Okay, Noah, take the ball, go. Eat him up on pick and roll. Oh, you want to guard Noah Farrakhan? Kerr, make some threes early. So I thought West Virginia took advantage of that size disparity, and the small lineup actually paid dividends. All right, one more thing, and we'll move on to the next thing. Thought this was interesting, and would you have said this a couple months ago? What Hoppy gave you that stat on the bench points? Would you have thought West Virginia's bench would be the key to the victory?
No.
That's one deficiency that Kansas has. They are really good 1 through 5. Their starting lineup now with Furphy in there is a legit, but they are not as deep as the normal Kansas team. Let's look at some lineups and frequency of lineups from Saturday. KU's most frequent lineup, its starting lineup, had 48 possessions together in that game. Their next most frequent lineup had 7 possessions together. So you got their starters and basically had it all game. And when those starters or pieces of that starting lineup went out, including Dickinson, what West Virginia did?
Huge difference.
We're going right
Attack.
at you. We're going right at you now in the first half. So that was massive. West Virginia's most frequent lineup, on the other hand, had 22 possessions together. West Virginia had 6 other lineups with at least 5 possessions. So West Virginia just kept rolling different combinations out there with guys that wanted to work. This was fascinating. The most effective, Kobe, Kerr, Seth, Quinn Slazinski, and Pat Sumnick. When that lineup was in there together, it did not miss a shot. Made 4 3-pointers and scored more points in those 7 possessions they were in together than any other lineup. And I think what that showed me, and again, you just wouldn't have said this a month ago, the depth for West Virginia helped them win that game. There were multiple individuals, and we've named them, most of them here. Kobe Johnson, just right there. Kobe Johnson gave you good minutes. Quinn Slazinski came in, played well, had that huge offensive rebound off the missed free throw. So there were every guy that got in that game gave you really impactful, high-energy moments and minutes, and the bench was one of the key reasons you won that game.
Well, speaking of that, here's 3 guys that came off the bench. They all finished in the plus-minus category in the high plus. Here we go. Slazinski, team best, plus 18. Noah Farrakhan, team high, plus 18. Seth Wilson, team high, plus 14.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly right. If you would have done a blind study and not tell you which team had the numbers, if I would have said to you going into this game, okay, after Saturday's game's over, turnovers, one team will have 14 points off of them, another will have 7. Points in the paint, one team will have 44, the other team will have 26. Fast break points, one team will have 16, the other team will have 8. And the bench scoring, you're going to lose by 7. You'd go like, well, Kansas is going to win because you know what those numbers are. And those were the numbers, and West Virginia still found a way to win.
And that's why I said earlier, this wasn't Hoosiers. You didn't have some fluky upset here. Kansas played a pretty good basketball game. You just lined up toe-to-toe and beat them.
You did. And that's, there's no denying that. Here's the question going forward. No, here's the question. Is this the new normal or is this an aberration? Because you had a lot of guys playing at an elite level. So is this the new normal? Or again, it's one time. I know we've been building toward that.
You want
we've
the
been
answer?
building toward that.
You want the answer?
Yes.
Here's the answer. Straight answer. Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. So here, what do I always say?
Because you're not going to shoot 57% from 3. You're not going to shoot 52%.
But what do I always say? You can't pick a performance up and move it forward automatically.
Right.
So you're searching for consistency, which is the hardest thing in college sports. Look at this league. Some of this is this league.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kansas goes on the road, loses here, right? They lose to UCF. I mean, this league is a beast. So you can't assume you're going to pick this up and move it forward. What you can assume is that I think it's another indication of what a lot of people, us included, have been saying. You give these guys a chance to play together for a certain amount of time, and you start to figure it out. You can't just throw guys in and expect the results right away.
And change roles.
Figuring out what Noah Farrakhan had to do to help you get a win on Saturday was the result of him having played now 5 or 6 games. Knowing how, we said that. You put Kerr Kriisa and Noah Farrakhan in a lineup together, that takes a minute. They're both ball-dominant point guards. How do those guys play together? How does Kerr learn to play without the basketball? How does Farrakhan learn to play without the basketball? And how do you mix that in with a guy in Pat Sumnick who wasn't getting touches early in the season? I thought this was a result, and maybe it doesn't happen again the rest of the season. You don't know that. Right. But I thought this was a result of seeing these guys together and the coaching staff being able to react to that, saying, okay, here's what we have. We have a defense that's struggling against our pick and roll. We have 2 guys that are very good handling it in the pick and roll, including one that they can't stay in front of. Let's do this. You couldn't do that 4 games ago because you hadn't seen it.
You got to know. You don't know until you know.
You don't know. And now there's going to be another. Oh, by the way, now you're going to add an elite pro back in Jesse Edwards to this lineup. So how does that work? What does that do to Pat Sumnick's role? right? How does Pat play? Are you going to be able to play Pat and Jesse together at times?
You would think.
Are you going to be able to play a big back line of a Cook, Jesse, and Pat at times if you want? Probably not all together very often because you need some bench strength. But now your rotations have just changed again. So you can't assume anything moving forward. But I think it also shows when you put some talent together, let them play together for a while, let the staff understand how it works, what you can do on a top-end situation.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems. They happen to be West Virginia's premier business office business. What's that all mean? Well, they got you covered. Whether it is business equipment, they've got all that. Got enough copiers, they could print out whatever you want 5 billion times. That's how many printers they have. Unconfirmed, but we're looking into that. They also have an opportunity for you when it comes to your IT services to give you the protection and the safety that you need so that your data is safe, that your networks and your computers within your business operate efficiently. And when it comes to phone systems, they've got you covered from one line to 1,000 phone lines. You know, Comax's digital phone systems, competitively priced, efficient. They'll come in for a free price quote. Visit ComaxWV.com. That was a pretty good rundown of the numbers.
It was.
No, we had a lot.
But as they say on the infomercial, but wait, there's more.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater.
More.
Let's jump into the.
You know why there's more, Hop?
Why?
Because the hits, just like the games, they keep on coming. Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They're terrific. Complete service public accounting and consulting, serving clients throughout our state since 1985 and surrounding states as well. What's that value beyond the numbers mean? They join you as a partner, walking side by side, giving you the advice and the counsel that you need to make your business operate as efficiently as possible. So much more than just preparing tax returns. Sure, they do that, but they can do so much more. Sit in, audits, and everything. Audit and assurance, tax planning, preparation, consulting you. And they can also outsource your accounting if you need that done remotely, or your CFO services. Conley CPA Group. All right, let's do these numbers. West Virginia, UCF, second ever meeting between the two schools. Tuesday in Orlando, first ever encounter as Big 12 Conference mates. Johnny Dawkins in his 8th season as the head coach of UCF. They're pretty good, man. They're pretty good. They've got, like West Virginia, they've got to win over Texas. Like West Virginia, they've got to win over Kansas.
Isn't that crazy? Would you have said that when the schedule came out?
No,
That's what this league is now.
You just don't know.
We keep saying it, but my God.
Yeah.
I said Johnny Dawkins, 8th season. He also was at Stanford for 8. Do you remember how good he was?
Oh, I loved watching him. He was one of my favorite players growing up. He was awesome.
So he's the Naismith Award winner, 2-time consensus All-American, just one of the great all-time college basketball players ever.
Mm-hmm. True.
Ever.
That lefty move, he was bouncy, could shoot it.
From D.C.
Mm-hmm.
From D.C., played in Catholic schools in D.C., and then had a nice career in the league. I didn't look this up. He got, his career got all jacked up because of desert fever, right?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Is that why?
I'm looking it up. You
No,
go ahead.
I'll
Do your
see, I
numbers.
remember him. I remember him way more as a college player.
Yeah.
I loved watching him in college.
Yeah.
Elite. All right, you ready? Dive into UCF here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's what I was going to lead with, those two really good conference wins, same as West Virginia, the Texas and Kansas. Here's what you don't know about UCF though. Their non-conference, they weren't tested a whole lot. Their best non-conference win was 112th ranked Charlotte. I'm going by Ken Palm rankings here. Now listen to this one, Hoppy.
Yes.
6 of their 9 non-conference wins are over teams that average 276.
Yeah.
There's only 362 teams. Their wins average number 276, but they've turned around and beat 2 good teams in conference play. So interesting kind of schedule there. Here's what they do. They're defensively oriented. Another really good defense. 8th nationally in adjusted defensive efficiency. To give you some perspective on that, Kansas came into this game 11th. Now West Virginia torched them, but now you're back on the road. This will be a challenge.
What's their number?
8th nationally, defensive efficiency. 15th in opponent turnover percentage. Got to take care of the ball. They're 3rd nationally in block percentage with that good size. They struggle offensively, though. 289th in effective field goal percentage, 243rd in turnover percentage, and they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country, a bottom 65 team. Very good on the offensive glass, though, so you're going to have to rebound against them, and defensive rebounding, keep them off the offensive glass. You know, guys, that would have been a massive concern a month ago, but Tony, really since the second half of that Ohio State game, West Virginia's work on the boards has been tremendous.
Yes.
They have turned that part of it around, made it an emphasis. They have guys performing. There's been a guard. Here's been the key in my mind. First of all, Pat's been very good on the glass, but they've had a guard in every game that has stepped up. Sometimes it's been Noah Farrakhan. Sometimes Kreese has got on there with 4 or 5. Raekwon Battle got you 9 again the other day. He's at a 10 rebound game. They're getting a better effort from more people now on the glass.
You think Raekwon's a stealth rebounder? Like he just comes out of nowhere to get his.
Yes.
Yeah. Like some guys, you can see him boxing out, jumping up straight, and bringing the ball down. 2 hands in the air. Like Raekwon is kind of like, he's like Batman. He's just like, he's there. Just comes across the lane, got a rebound. How about the block he had?
And he was real close to a couple highlight defensive plays that he got called for a foul on.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. All right, here's one to watch. You want a sneaky key to the game, Hop?
Yeah.
Who gets to the line more? UCF is number 2 in the Big 12 Conference in conference play in free throw rate. You know who's number 1?
UCF?
Mountaineers. UCF's 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait
Yeah.
a second. Timeout. 30-second coach's timeout. You're saying West Virginia gets to the foul line more than any other Big 12 team?
In Big 12 play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, wait a second. The officials are against West Virginia. All the calls go against West Virginia. West Virginia never gets any calls.
Well, no, it's another year where they're getting a lot of calls. They're getting the line.
They got a good call Saturday there late in the game.
Getting the line.
Something must be up here.
Well,
West
I didn't
Virginia.
get a good call. The officials were just doing a fine job, Hoppy.
Bill Self about that.
But, well, talk about getting a break. You want to know who got a break on that particular play?
Bill Self.
If that's any other coach in this league, that's a technical foul, and it might be 2 technical fouls.
Yeah,
So you can say West Virginia got a break on Kirk Creasy, even though he got mugged 3 different times. The old ball coach there for the Jayhawks should have had himself a couple. You could have got rung up pretty easily.
He's got a lot of equity in his account.
Yeah, he does. He does. Anybody else, that might be a beep, beep.
They did not
Go.
want to. They did not want to end the game that way.
They didn't.
The
but-
officials did not
well,
want to
he
end
knew
it that way.
That
would
I'll
have
tell you what.
decided it.
So we can cancel those who got a call out right there. All right, here's the other thing on them. With that great size, they're going to be really tough to get to the rim on. Opponents are only shooting 55% at the rim. The national average is 62%. So difficult when you get in there. They're going to force you to make some threes. But here's what I want you to watch, Hoppy. You ready?
Okay, yes.
In addition to the free throws, let's watch this. West Virginia should finally get some unguarded looks from 3.
Huh?
They haven't got many. I've told you this before. West Virginia leads the league by a significant amount in percentage of catch and shoot jumpers that are guarded. Almost 7 out of 10 shots for West Virginia on catch and shoot jumpers. Hop. When you pass it, catch it, shoot it. Almost 70% of them are guarded. West Virginia's just not getting a lot of open looks. But UCF gives up the 4th most unguarded field goal attempts in the Big 12.
So, Brad, when you get an open shot, what do you have to do?
You have to make it, and here's what has been a key to UCF's success early.
Yeah.
They're giving up the 4th most unguarded, but teams are 11th in scoring percentage on those open jumpers. This might be a nice time for a little regression for that number. At some point, you keep giving teams open shots,
Right.
and someone's going to hit them on you. Can West Virginia pick up its nice shooting performance and move it forward here? So let's say, if those trends stay up, what I'm saying is you're going to get more open looks than you have. Teams are not hitting those at a high rate against UCF. But when they're open, that's not because of the defense. That's just you're just not making shots. This would be a nice game to make some threes. Get those open looks, take advantage of it, get to the line, you walk out with a win. They've been handled in different ways. Miami ran them into submission. Just fast break up and down.
Early
on
in the
them.
season.
Got them. That probably doesn't apply to West Virginia. They're not going to run a lot. They're going to pick their spots. Ole Miss used the pick and roll ball handler. Kansas State and BYU, they did make shots, and what'd they do?
Kansas State damn near killed them.
Right. They were some teams that got open looks and punished them with it. And then Houston's a whole different animal. They just flat smothered them this week. Now, they pick and rolled them to death. Absolutely pick and rolled them to death. But offensively,
We saw that.
they just couldn't do anything. Houston just ate them up on the defensive end. So
the Houston pick and roll is elite.
very good. Best in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that firsthand. That was like a wow.
Best in the league.
Yeah.
So those are your keys. If you can get to the free throw line, great. If you can get into their bigs and they're calling fouls, not just letting them get block shots, that's a key. But I think if you're looking for one key in this one, this is another make shots game because I think you're going to get some open looks. You got to take advantage of them.
Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. And a reminder, as Hoppy continues to go back and forth between West Virginia, between Morgantown and Charleston in West Virginia to go to the legislative session, he always stops by Gomart, gets himself a hot coffee. You know, the coffee is always warm and fresh at Gomart's across the state of West Virginia, and you can get everything you need. You fuel up this winter, grab and go items all the way from grab and go to that windshield wiper fluid.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer the blue over the red. And get that rewards card.
I go blue.
Yeah, I like blue too. Yeah. Save on your points, save on your fuel, and get some food. Gomart, get that rewards card and do it today. Three Guys also brought to us by the folks at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. You know, I grew up just outside of two of the Great Lakes, Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, up there in Buffalo. And they have a thing. They have a thing called the ice clipper this time of year where it breaks the ice.
Oh,
you ever seen those?
Yeah.
They break the ice. Not sure if Lou Wendell has any pontoon icebreakers, but at this point, Lou Wendell, they're not thinking about the ice. They're thinking about in the next several weeks.
Soon.
Yeah, it's coming. Days are getting longer. We told you earlier in the program, well, it's cold right now today, but it's going to be in the 60s, high 50s to 60 here. Once again, Mother Nature just giving us a little seductive wink this week saying it's coming. And when it comes to pontoon boats, the premier pontoon boat dealer in our state is Lou Wendell Marine Sales, located in St. Albans. Currently have a super duper Three Guys special, which is the 2023 Avalon 2385 Entertainer, fully loaded out. The sun's coming. The buds are coming. It's going to be nice, real nice. If you're in to the pontoon scene and you're ready to make that move, Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans.
Hold on, stop the music.
Huh?
Stop the music. We got one more thing.
What?
You have to mention the historic performance of the women's team.
Well, we can do that, and there's some references to that in textual hit. It was historic.
Historic copy. Go ahead. Play the music.
No,
if you said they're mentioned in there, we'll come back to it.
Well, let's mention them now. So the WV women's team last week did something against Houston that had never been done before in women's program history, and that is they pitched a shutout, did not allow Houston to score a single point in the opening half.
Incredible.
Zero hop.
Just
opening quarter.
Amazing.
Opening quarter.
Opening quarter.
First quarter.
I'm sorry, I said half. Excuse me. Opening quarter. And we haven't had the quarter system. How many years is this now? 5? 4 or 5?
Ish. I lose track.
So anyway, West Virginia does it. Saturday, go out to Cincinnati, lined up, and shut Cincinnati out again in the first quarter.
Did it again.
Never been done in women's basketball history.
In back-to-back games.
Yeah.
That is
never been done in back-to-back. First ever. Gino Ariema, he hadn't done it. Tara Vanderveer.
Steve Emmy and Stringer.
Teresa Shankgren.
Debbie Ryan.
Kim Mulkey. She hadn't done it. Oh, Mark Kellogg, he just pitched himself 2 shutouts.
How about that?
Unbelievable.
That's really well.
That is because when you do it once, you go, that's
had a good day.
It's not only historic, it's fluky.
Yeah.
You do it because one doesn't make a trend. Now you do it twice, you go,
yeah.
Wow, you're
back-to-back games, lined up, did it again.
Back games.
So listen, Saturday.
If you're Cincinnati, you're just going.
Fastball was on and the curveball was working.
So Saturday, chances are they don't pitch a shutout against Iowa State in the first quarter. However, I strongly encourage all Mountaineer fans. The men are away at Stillwater. Go to the women's game. If you haven't seen them yet, pack that place out. I don't know what it is sitting with me on this Iowa State game, but that bummed me out because I invested energy and I watched the last one. West Virginia's up 19 in the third quarter at Iowa State, and they lose the game.
Just needed a shot or two.
Just needed a
3 to
threes.
fall.
So here is the revenge opportunity for the world champion Mountaineers. Saturday afternoon, Coliseum. Check it out.
Throwing shutouts, Hoppy.
Hey, can the new coach, Mark Kellogg, can he coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, as he said, that's his system: defense and run.
What is his system shutting out people?
Well, he's also, as he will tell you and has told us on these shows, he's got some good talent too.
I understand.
shutting
He's got some
people
players.
out?
He's got some players playing.
He might have a hang of this thing. 3 Guys Before the Game, Textual Healing is brought to us by episode800.com, where you can buy all of our merchandise, the award-winning coffee, the award-winning popcorn, National Popcorn Day. You got to get your Valentine order in by Saturday to have it by Valentine's Day. And just doing great things with that. Also, we'll get into this on Textual Healing, but had some spotty, some sporadic spottings of Courchevel in various places.
How do you find it? It's like gold now. You can't find it.
Well, I was sitting over there at Kegler.
You were at the Keglers?
I was over at Kegler doing the talk show with Josh the other day, and Mike in the front row says, "Hey," he goes, "This Courchevel's really good." And I looked at him like he had 4 heads. I said, "What do you mean he got it?" I go, they got it? Yeah, they had it on draft. So I don't know. It's kind of like they find it like Al Capone's grave. Every once in a while, they just find a little bit of it. From the text line, Jeremy in Cooperstown. That's where the Baseball Hall of Fame is located. I think I was the West Virginia connection this fine evening. I was in town all week for a convention in Charleston, West Virginia. My flight back to Albany got canceled. I booked a room at the Courtyard on the river, told myself if we were tied or leading at half against Kansas, I'm going to Adelphi on Capitol Street to watch second half play. Well, we're tied, so I ran over there, half freezing cold snow to watch, with people I didn't exactly know. Long story short, I'm giving high fives, hugging and singing Country Roads with all my friends after another great win. My question, who wants to play this team right now?
That's a good story. Good work.
It is.
That's fun. That's a great Mountaineer memory.
Yeah, good one.
Who dat gonna beat them Mountaineers this year, Hobby? Howdy, 3 guys. This is an important text here. This is our buddy Joe Mock in Leander, Texas. Remember I showed you my picture with him last show?
Joe. He's basically a 4th guy.
He said, I love the win over Kansas and the back-to-back first quarter shutouts by our women. Great stuff. I want to provide an update now on the situation where the Sooners played Country Roads off of their PA system after they'd beaten us handily on the court. I have a friend who is the Executive Associate Athletics Director at Oklahoma.
Wait, what kind of athletic director?
She's the Executive Associate Athletic Director. In fact, I sat with her for part of our game last Wednesday in Norman, so he's sitting with her. I've always found her to be an extremely high-quality individual. After watching Thursday's podcast, I emailed her a link to the episode and told her the timestamp where she could listen to the texter's comments on the matter and Tony's response. Well, this probably takes me out of getting invited to Joe Castiglione's Christmas party next year.
Probably.
I want to share her response. After thanking me for sending the link to her, she wrote, quote, I actually talked to my staff after the game and said that was a poor call. We are good sports, and that didn't show that. I apologize that happened. It's not indicative of how we treat our guests. We are all sorry. Please pass that along. End quote. So they know they messed up. Honestly, I will not miss the Longhorns when they are gone from the Big 12. They make themselves easy to hate. I will miss the Sooners, though. Signed by Joe.
Well, it's nice to get an apology.
Yeah, I mean, like I said on the show, I knew it was someone on a lower level, a junior level, that screwed up. It wasn't Castiglione or the double executive associate AD in charge of deputy athletic directors, in charge of associate athletic directors, in charge of the assistant athletic director.
What?
It wouldn't have bothered me. Play.
Philip from Philippi had to share a quick story.
Played Sweet Caroline, taunted Pitt after the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Mr. Howe?
Yes. Which I loved.
Mr. Howe?
Yeah.
Sunshine's going to get nervous in about 3 minutes.
He's already nervous. He can leave whenever he needs to leave.
I know, but let's just try to wrap out a few of these with him.
Go.
Philip from Philippi had to share a quick story. Listening to the math equation episode, my wife was listening with me and heard your pronunciations of Ahia, Oklahoma, and Cincinnati, and she said that they sound like you. Don't worry, I gave you all the credit. Then she didn't call you clowns, but she called you something worse. I just smiled.
Where did Ahia come from? I mean, I know the others. Where did Ahia begin?
Jay Jacobs says Ahia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jay Jacobs
You've never
says.
heard somebody say Ohio?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I have. I
Yeah.
just wondered where it came from, though.
Jacobs
Ahia.
would always go, yeah, and we got to go over there to Ahia. But other people do say it. Yeah.
How do you say the state where Reno is located in Las Vegas? How do you say that?
Well, it's going to be a Nevada or a Nevada. It's
Yeah, but how do you
it's
say- what's correct?
It's probably Nevada, isn't it?
No,
Vada.
It's Vada.
Nevada.
Oh, good. That's
And
what
they're
I
pretty
said.
sensitive
They
about
are
that
very
too.
sensitive.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got to get it right.
Yeah.
Good. Good for them. Hi, guys.
Well, listen, when UNLV's in the league, you're going to want to know that.
Our home and home.
Or just when the University of Nevada's in the league.
Yeah.
30-team basketball league.
Hi, two guys. Took a shot, you Hoppy. The transistor radio is why I love baseball. Growing up St. Albans in the 60s, never missed a Reds game on my radio. When they played on the West Coast, I'd go to bed listening and invariably fall asleep. Radio was our connection with West Virginia sports. We would listen to the game as a family. My favorite WV basketball radio memory, 1970 and 6. West Virginia had Mo Robinson, Tony Robertson, Bill Roberson, and Tommy Roberts all on the floor at the same time. You can imagine the call. I know it's been a long note, but one other radio highlight. Warren Baker, high school championship game, was injured early, but came back out to lead his team to a win. Nothing like listening to an artist paint a picture of a game on the radio. Yeah, radio can stay with you. John from Oklahoma City. Scopes and part-timer, as spreads will want no part of this. My dad passed away, and we are home for the funeral in Ravenswood this week, but I could not pass up getting my picture made with the Mothman statue.
Oh, my.
Solid addition to your Ohio River show plan to stop in Point Pleasant and pay homage, and then finish off the stop with a scoop or two of ice cream. Awesome. Yeah, Mothman ice cream there.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Sorry about the passing of your dad, though.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. Hope all is well, and condolences. Texter, hello, guys. I'm out shoveling the snow after our most recent snow, listening to the recent episode. When I tell you, I dove into the giant snow pile I had because I thought someone had let animals loose from Hovatter Zoo, but here it was just Tony using his best elephant impression. Thanks for the surprise. Stephen from Morgantown did an
missed
elephant last show.
Did you? It's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Guys, on my way to the Kansas game, I took the best country road in all of West Virginia in Bridgeport to pick up a friend. What can you guys not do? Nate in the Kanawha Valley.
Is there a three guys drive?
So three guys drive there in somewhere in West Virginia, Bridgeport area, I guess.
Is that real? That's not real, is
It
it?
is real.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is.
Get
Yeah.
on that.
They should probably, they should be a sponsor of the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Buddy in Hampton, Virginia, three guys I've noticed that we do well in the first half of the men's basketball games, and then in the second half, our opponents change their strategy and they beat us by double-digit scores. I used to think it was because of our short roster, but I do not believe that this is the case. Josh does not change his strategy. I think he should because the opposition has changed theirs. What do you guys think? Signed Buddy in Hampton, Virginia.
I don't think that was the case
That
Saturday.
was not the case as we outlined. That was opposite of that.
Buddy, I'd have to say your text didn't age well, as they say. State Fair West Virginia announcing concert lineup for this summer.
It's a good one.
According to the State Fair, Charles Wesley Godwin, former guest here on Three Guys, will take the main stage on Sunday, August the 11th, 99th State Fair. And Neil says, already got our tickets. Pass the word. They're going to be a sellout. I love his music. Thank you all for turning us on to this great West Virginia talent. Texter, guys, Big Tony from Daniels. You can sum up the Kansas game in one word, teamwork. Congratulations to the entire program for continuing to battle. I'm impressed and proud of their effort. Tony, I'll never get tired of you saying it's a great day to be a Mountaineer. Texter, Craig in Craigsville. I listened to my favorite Two Guys game and watched it on ESPN Plus so I could see my favorite two guys during the telecast. Damn, you two were looking sharp. If fine-looking Phil can dress you two like that, wonder what he could do for me.
It was like Stripe the Announcer Day. Stripe the Announcers.
It was Stripe the Stadium Day.
Yeah.
We want to participate.
The stripe, the stadium the Coliseum was not efforted well, but the stripe, the announcers went perfectly. A gold and a blue. Well done.
Worked out.
Texter, sitting in the stands after the Kansas game. How exciting is it to watch Pat Sumnick get more confidence as a player? That's tremendous.
Awesome.
P1 Jason in Tulsa, what a game. Most exciting game I've seen probably since the triple OT game against TCU, where Jordan McCabe almost had a triple-double. So much hope for the future considering, as shown via the graphic during the game, West Virginia has played precisely 0 games without its full roster. I love how the recent games have been called, too. Even Oklahoma, they let them play. As Tony knows, I work with mega construction projects for a living and routinely have to report on various metrics for where we are versus where we're supposed to be. Lately, when asked to give a report during my meetings, I've started to say, well, let's take a look at the numbers. Well, let's just go right to the numbers. And all that too familiar cadence. And everyone looks at me like I'm on drugs, but I don't care. When the report is that we're behind and the top brass asks what we're doing to get back on track, I have an efficient and adequate reply of efforting. When asked what I meant by that, I informed that if you have to ask, you wouldn't get it. I feel my time on this project might be short-lived, but I'll see you guys in Stillwater on the 27th regardless. Yeah.
See, that's how you use efforting.
Yeah.
Where are we on?
Yeah.
Efforting.
Efforting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
He continues and says, I hope Jay Jacobs is enjoying his retirement. Shout out to Steven Tornado for that amazingly detailed report on the pronunciation of gent in Raleigh County. Let's go Mountaineers. Love the show. P.S. There's no way Raekwon Battle is 6'5". Thinks he's a little bit bigger than that. Or maybe he thinks he's smaller than that. I don't know. What do you think?
No, he says only 6'5".
Only 6'5", yeah. Chris in Nashville. What a great win against Kansas. I think this team will be and end up being a what-if situation similar to what we had in 2020 when the NCAA tournament got canceled. Also, we need to keep this going. So, now for the analytics portion of the show, we made shots and rebounded. Great win. Brad and Tony, you looked sharp as well. Brad, could you hear the conversations between the referees? I saw you trying to snoop in on the referees when they came to the table.
I was efforting. Could hear a little, not a whole lot, believe it or not, as close as that was.
Yeah. Well, they like to talk quietly. Periopolis Phil wrote that. Hey, 3 guys, I was listening to the Houston UCF game on Sirius until the WVU game started, and I think there were more baskets scored in the first 4 minutes that I listened to you guys, roughly from the 11-minute mark, than there were in the whole first half by Houston and UCF, except it wasn't planned. It was about as exciting as Duke versus UNC games when they used to use the motion 4 corners offense when the halftime scores were 12-10 were common.
Yeah.
Frank writes in.
Houston locked it up
Yeah.
on UCF.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, 7 baskets.
They can guard.
Scored 7 baskets in 40 minutes.
Excuse me?
They scored 7 baskets in 40 minutes. They had 7 field goals the whole game.
Who was coaching? Mark Kellogg?
Hey, Frank, thank you very much for your comments. And let me just also say this. At times, I'll tell you this. Not all the texts get read, and some of the texts get edited. Not edited. That's not the right word. Let me get to what I'm saying. There were a lot of texts here this week after the game talking about Brad doing the broadcast. And a lot of nice things were said. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not using them because that decision as far as what's going to happen in the future hasn't been made, and I don't think it would be fair for us to just continue to ramp that up or bloviate on that or politic on that. So just thank you all very much. Texter, this Kroger versus the Krogers argument is going on too long. The name is Kroger, other than when preceded by the. When it comes, the Krogers, end of discussion. So he says if you put the article the in front of it, the Krogers, but if it's just I'm going to Kroger, then that's what he says. End it. He's just being funny.
Yeah.
Texter, P1 listener, Ted from Fort Mill, South Carolina. After a roller coaster season like the men's basketball team has had, there's only one thing that would have made today's victory any better. Ren Baker should have hung the banner at halftime. Hashtag HTB. P.S. My dad and I have spent 2 lifetimes as huge WVU fans, and we each live in different states. But your show allows us to continue sharing the love for all things West Virginia. My dad was born and raised in Fairmont. As a kid, snuck into Stansbury to see Jerry West play, later graduated from the WVU Engineering School. He got a job, raised a family of West Virginia fans in Pittsburgh, now lives in Woodbridge, Virginia, near my sister. As an 82-year-old who survived a stroke just a couple of years ago, he remains a proud native West Virginian, loyal Three Guys listener. So when he goes to physical therapy, he faithfully, Hoppy, take a look at the board, wears his efforting T-shirt, and shares West Virginia stories with his personal trainer, who is from Elkins.
Of course he is.
As you commonly say, just goes to show you, always a West Virginia connection. Well, that's
Looking pretty good
fantastic.
there.
They got their HTV shirts.
I
Hang
love
the
it.
damn banner
I
up.
love it.
Yeah.
Anybody ask Coach Self to bring that banner with them and X out and
You know,
Hoist it up.
We'll take
you know what?
front what?
They don't hang those banners there. They don't hang conference tournament banners.
It wouldn't be any room, right?
I asked, I said, hey, take a picture of that banner because I wanted to get a facsimile. And they go like, actually, we just put the year up next to the thing that says tournament champion. Yeah, well. Hey, Three Guys. Question for the Senator, more than anything, but a little background, especially the great win over Kansas. My parents, John and Leonora Olashuk, first purchased season tickets to Mountaineer basketball in 1985 when I was there but a mere freshman. They sat 3 rows down from the concourse, center court across the students. They never left a game early, but my mother had the rule of 80. She would get up and use the restroom when either team scored 80 points, saying that the first team to 80 always wins. To this day, our family will exchange texts when the Mountaineers hit 80 first, proclaiming the game over based on Mom's rule of 80. Without looking it up, how prophetic would you say the rule of 80 really is? Signed by Bobby O and Defiance Ahaya via Weirton.
She's probably on that. That probably does happen
We need
way
to
more
look
than
that
it
up.
doesn't.
What's West Virginia's one-loss record all time when scoring 80 or more points? We could probably find that.
But it's 100% at getting to the bathroom on time.
He ended that by saying hashtag hang the banner. Logan in Greenbrier County this past weekend, great definition of efforting. Watch the NFL playoffs, listening to the radio during the game, during dinner. My dad and I listened to the very end, excited about the game, excited listening to the NFC playoff. Green Bay, San Francisco. I was surprised Pitt beat Duke. I wish the playoff game and the Duke-Pitt game would have ended in a tie. I hate all 4 of those teams. But at the end of the day, world champs got the upset and made it a great night to be a Mountaineer.
Playoff football good?
Oh, it's been really good.
It's good.
Yeah,
Really
really.
Chiefs Bills last night was good.
It was
Felt bad
good.
for the Bills kicker.
I did. I felt bad. I was really, I don't have, the Steelers aren't in, but I was really hoping for a Detroit-Buffalo Super Bowl.
That'd be unbelievable.
Josh Allen's got to complete that pass before the kick, though, and it's a touchdown, and the Bills win.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Hey, 2 guys question. When Jesse returns, if you're the coach, would you continue to ride Pat bringing Jesse off the bench? Second question, would Kevin McCullough took 2 charges as a secondary defender. What happened to the rule change this year on secondary defenders? If that rule was followed, both would be blocks.
Yeah, good question.
Jesse, when he's ready to go, will not come off the bench. Will not come off the bench. Texter, hey, 3 guys. How about that effort and ability to finish off the Kansas game?
Yeah. Tremendous.
Texter, I've attached a picture of a handkerchief from another iconic West Virginia show, Mountain Stage. Perhaps call their people up and
Hanky.
effort some hopperchiefs. Thank you guys for the great show. Charlie from Harrison. There it is, Hoppy. That's Mountain Stage.
That's a nice one.
Mountain Stage has got its own hanky. How come we can't have our own hanky?
Yeah, really.
Real quick to get your back, my guy Greg was at the game. Talked to Greg before the game.
Yeah.
Had to use his hanky while we were talking.
Did he?
Yeah.
See, came in handy.
He just blow one out into there?
Yeah, put it back in his pocket.
Did he have a lot of moisture in there, or was
I
it a
just-
dry
I
blow?
don't go there.
I turned away.
He turned away.
I didn't want any part of it. Showed him where the bathroom was right over there. Could have got a tissue. Didn't need to use the hanky and put it back in.
So you don't know if it was a big blow or just a clean.
Stop.
Don't know. Didn't care. Didn't inquire.
Sounded like a coal barge coming down the road.
Stop.
Hey, 3 guys, probably 2 since Hoppy's hanging out at the Capitol. The question is for Scopes, the bread man, Mr. San Marzano. What in the heck explains the amazing transformation with Pat Sumnick? He goes from 3rd-string center last season to stud. 20 points against KU. Several consecutive strong performances in the past month. Was it Wheaties? Was it his time? Did he get a better position coach? Has he discovered a new sports vitamin? Or is it something psychological? Tony, you're the evangelist of sports psychology for college athletes. Go find out what was said or learned or practiced. That's the story we all want to need, and we want to hear. Your loyal listener, Lindbergh from, so I'm going to say this wrong. Is it it's probably Lucado?
I don't know that.
Lindbergh from, so you could go Lucado. I'm thinking that's Lucado. There's
Well,
Max
the
Lucado, the
you
writer.
think would modify the A,
Right.
right?
Two vowels go walking. The first one does the talking.
But it was West Virginia.
The two
so,
vowels right together, though?
Mm.
A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes
But you
Y.
know how we do sometimes in West Virginia. It's probably Lucado.
Lucadocious.
Or the L
Or
is silent.
the L silent or the C silent, or yeah.
Some Native American name we bastardized, right?
Hey, three guys. Jared, by the way, as far as Pat Sumnick goes, I will. So here's the deal. Like, Pat has never lacked for confidence. I talked about this several shows ago. I mean, he was just analysis paralysis early in the season. Now I think he's just balling.
playing.
He's just sticking his face in the fan. He never will back down from anything. He's a tough guy. That's what you need to be.
That's a different level of confidence that comes. You can be confident. You're producing like he's producing in actual big games against really good teams. That changes your level of confidence.
Yeah, I think he's always felt he's ready for this level.
He's playing with it. He's playing great.
Hey, three guys. Jared in Martinsburg. For Christmas, my girlfriend got me tickets for the Kansas game. With apprehension, I told her that I appreciated it. I was excited to go back to Morgantown. We probably shouldn't go to that game expecting a win. Regardless, I was excited to finally get a chance to try the fabled Courchevel until I heard it was discontinued. So it was with great relief that we got to see a huge win, a court storming, and I found some Courchevel when we stopped at the Gucci Kroger on our way out of town. I got to see, my old haunts, had a fantastic time, and reminded how much I love Morgantown. Next time can't come soon enough. So apparently they did like a clandestine shipment of your beer without us knowing. So apparently it popped out.
Awesome.
Kind of like a crocus.
It's like the no, it's like this
Like the Mothman.
what comes out every six
Locusts.
It's like the is that
It's
what
the
you,
cicadas.
like the
It's the
cicadas. Like what year is it? Is it the big brood year? Is it the year that just a few come up? I mean, what is
Is this the year for the Courchevel to come out? It's the year. Hey, three guys and two short. P1 Dad from Apothecary. I can't help but wonder what this team's record would be if the roster would have been at full strength from the start. I know this is a fool's errand, but Tony sort of opened up the door last episode. The question of the day, if West Virginia goes 9-9 in league, which he says is a real possibility with Edwards back, that would give us a 14-17 overall record, 500 in conference. Do you get an NCAA tournament bid? Problem is we have no good non-conference wins, but we went last year 19-14 and 7-11.
One game at a time. Win Tuesday.
Yeah. Texter, during the Ohio State game, I was incredibly frustrated with Pat Sumnick in the first half. I even popped off in a group text and said, Pat Sumnick belongs in the Mountain East Conference, not the Big 12. I also said if I was a coach, Sumnick would never see the floor. Well, it's good that I'm just an irrational fan.
self-aware?
Ever since my idiotic remarks, Pat is pretty much bald. What do you think changed for Pat? It's very rare to see a player get so better so quickly. Was this something that the coaches always saw in him? Hoppy, I finished my losing season last week.
Great book.
Sumnick's transformation is quite similar to Pat Conroy's. Thanks for that book recommendation, by the way, signed by Matt in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
One of the great sports books of all time.
Someone during your absence on our last episode asked what the name of the book was. We shared it with them. So
You should get royalties. You're
should
moving
get
books.
royalties.
Moving books,
You're moving
hiring
books.
soccer coaches, selling beer.
Visiting fire
Spreading
stations.
cheer at fire stations.
Saving kids.
Volunteering at fire stations.
Riding on a fire truck.
Guys, it's been a busy wintry weekend with the winter storm forecast. Of course, we ended up going to labor and delivery Friday morning during the storm.
Of course.
This young lady wanted me to tell you hang the banner.
Awesome.
An upset win and welcoming a new Mountaineer fan have turned around a gloomy winter weekend. It's good to see Coach Eilert and the guys getting into a groove. Looking forward to seeing what we can do the rest of the season. Signed by Ben and Lizzie Kate from Hurricane.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Texter, hi, 3 guys. If a committee could say the regular season in totality weighed less than the most recent injury report to keep Florida State from CFB, could another committee use the same logic, the opposite direction, to let a hypothetical. I read for a living. Hypothecary. Hypothetical 18 and 17 West Virginia into the tournament signed by Sean out on the Washington coast.
I'm with Brad. I mean, you're coming off the best performance of the season. See if you can now try to split some games on the road, get home games, and enjoy what's going on. This is fun. This is fun.
Yeah, really fun. But tough week here against teams that you should feel like you can go in and get wins, but you haven't performed on the road yet. Right. So go on the road here and try and keep it going.
Texter, I have listened to every episode of your podcast. Every day I stumble onto something that comes up on your podcast, and I realize how much you have influenced my life.
Dangerous.
He said, I was at Aldi today in Chilai, New York, and look what I found on the shelf. It looks like someone has stole Tony's idea. Look, Cupid's Crunch.
Cupid's Crunch.
Yeah. Also, you guys spend considerable time talking about Big 12 time zones and TV schedules. I'm on the WVUsports.com site a little while ago, Sunday, before the Bills game, and look what I found for West Virginia and Oklahoma State. Is it a 1 p.m. or a 2 p.m.? Sure would be nice to have time zones used on the WVU site. I have no idea who manages the site, but Tony could maybe get them to use the time zone. So actually, that's right. The game's at 2 Saturday, but the pregame starts at 1. So that's when that actually broadcast will begin at 1 o'clock. But I know there's another slide that shows 2 o'clock, and that 2 o'clock is when the game actually starts. Signed by my man Joe, and he says, yeah. Anyway, I know Chilai, New York.
Do you?
Yeah, I know Chilai.
Spelled like chili.
It's spelled like chili. It's pronounced Chilai.
Chilai.
So to our discussion on the email from Skip, right? He knows.
Our girls basketball team in high school. Our girls basketball team in high school made it to big rounds, sectional rounds. And in New York State, when you make it to sections, that's like a big deal. Went to Chilai, played a game in Horseheads, New York. Lined up, ran Gates Chilai right off the floor. T. Mahar went crazy.
Tony, I'm exiting the building.
Okay, we only have 2 left, but that's fine. Okay. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, you'll miss Thursday again, right?
Yeah.
You be good at the Capitol.
Okay.
Be nice to the lawmakers. Check on House Bill 3 guys before the game. Gentlemen, I'm bringing that to the front of the floor. House Bill 3 guys before the game. You seen go ahead. Anyway, Chuck and Lumberport. The coaches, players, and students let the basketball team at West Virginia know they have not left them. No one, including some of the fans, thought we could go through these games in January and win until Edwards came back. What a group of coaches and players trusting the game plan. Sumnick, awesome surprise. What confidence he has obtained. Let's go Mountaineers. And lastly, last text of the show. Professor Vinny, just wanted to offer my opinion. It's not necessarily a bad thing that Kurt Cheval is moving to a more seasonal offering than year-round. It helps Chestnut Brewing maybe offer some different beers and help their brand. Innovation is the name in the game in craft beer. That's cool. Capitalism is the name of the game on 3 guys before the game. As you've seen, we touch a product, it explodes. iPhone, that was us. All right. So Kirchhoff left. I guess we have to leave now.
We've got to wrap it up.
He gets nervous.
He's going to be standing over your shoulder wanting the studio here in about 2 seconds.
So we're taping in the morning Monday because I've got to go to Florida. I'm going to go see, I'm going to Orlando. Go to see Goofy, Dizzy, Dinky, Snoopy, Sleepy. Anyway, Mountaineer, I can't wait to watch this UCF thing now. See if the big man in the middle's back. See what this looks like.
Love to have him back.
Yeah, it'd be really, really nice. Really, 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 really,
But it really does give you some lineup flexibility there.
Well, think about this, man. So the game's going to be, what, on the 23rd of January? Can you believe that? 23rd of January, it's the first time you got your roster.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing.
Remarkable.
Amazing. All right.
Wouldn't mind Seth Wilson hitting a few threes Tuesday as well, like he did. It was good to see him back.
We had 6 last game. You guys can all participate. It's free access. Go ahead, hit them. So pretty standard. We're just going to go Thursday and preview Stillwater.
Yeah, we'll wrap up UCF, preview Oklahoma State.
Don't forget, episode800.com, open and available for your service. Again, I've said this before. The popcorn's really, really good. It won't disappoint you.
Really good.
Listen, if you don't like the popcorn, it's your taste buds, not the popcorn. But you do have to have your order in by Saturday the 27th in order to have it on Valentine's Day. 3 guys before the game, brought to us by the great folks, Bob and crew at Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Your printer working well?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
Flawless.
Yeah. Visit ComaxWV.com. Get your rewards card from GoMart because it saves you money. So that's a pretty good deal. Save on fuel, save on your food, tag up them rewards points, and get some of that tasty, toasty winter coffee from GoMart. 3 guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. Yes, the cold's going away. Warm's going to be here. It happens every year. And if you're in the market for a pontoon, why not go to West Virginia's #1 pontoon boat dealer? They sell the Avalon series of pontoons. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. And 3 guys, spreads on stats, brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. That'll do it for us. Kansas dusted into the wind. Special thank you to Austin Wright, our producer. Back again on Thursday. Stay well, stay safe, stay warm. See y'all.